dark, dingy, stormy night, and you are stepping into what looks like a mist-filled street. What evil, what horrible lurking shadow follows you? Is there someone there, or is it just your imagination? Yes, I am going to be covering the Curse of Strahd, and yes, I do have strange things sticking in my ears, and I'm just checking out the sound, and you'll let me know if the sound or there's any problems with the video, and I will do my best. But you will find the start time down in the description, which of course won't help you in the slightest, because this video is live, and I'm going to be unlisting it once we've played through, or I've run through it. Okay, now, normally with my live streams, for those of you who are not familiar with my live streams, is I present everything first and then I open it up for questions and answers, and that's exactly the same process I'm going to do for today. So for those of you who are wondering, that's what the plan is. So settle down, get comfortable, and let's talk about Strahd, because I like talking about Strahd. It's one of my favourite adventures. Okay. Strahd. Let's get these earplugs out because I look very, very silly with them on. So, just like that, we're ready to go, baby. Okay. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I'm going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5e, but I'm going on the dark side. We're going on the dark side. We're going to talk about the Curse of Strahd. This is a Dungeon Master's Guide. Yeah, exactly right. That's right. It's a Dungeon Master's Guide. So if you're a player and you're playing this adventure, go and watch one of my other videos, because this is not for you. Okay? You should find that this is about how to play Strahd von Zarovich. How do you actually play this character? It's the most important thing you could possibly do in this adventure is figuring out how to play the vampire. You should definitely read the information provided on pages 9 and 10 of the Curse of Strahd. That's certainly a starting point. You can play Strahd von Zarovich as recommended in the book, but I'm going to suggest to you to make Strahd your own villain. Actually do something with him. Make him your own. He's not somebody else's. He's not somebody else's villain anymore. He belongs to you, and you can make him do as you see fit. So make him your own villain. I played Strahd very differently to the book, and I confused my players. I probably confused their characters for sure, but my players were utterly bamboozled. They did not understand, and they were also, I created a feeling of dread within them. They did not know what was going to happen next. They had no idea what Strahd was really capable of doing. Strahd's past has shown that he's got a desire for power, control, conquest, making his dark pact at the expense of everybody in his life, including himself, his family, his friends, his brother, everybody, the entire people of Barovia. It did not matter. He would still go to the most appalling lengths to do something. That's why he creates this dark pact. He is completely evil. Strahd has got no pity, no remorse, no love, no hate, no anguish, no anger, no fear, nothing. He feels absolutely nothing. And this is what makes Strahd so awesome. There is nothing he would not do. There is nobody he would not manipulate. And manipulation is his tool. It is what he uses out of everything else. It is actually more useful to him than his spells. And I suggest you capitalize on that. Strahd is suggested to show up early in the book. And I agree. Strahd should show up early in the adventure. He could be disguised as somebody else. He could be presenting himself as he is. You know, actually introduce himself as Strahd von Zarovich. That's perfectly fine. You could do that. That's not an issue whatsoever. But will he be terrorizing the characters, or will he be attacking them? He could be offering up small talk, or help or assistance. Or he may in fact appear to be helping the players with their goal of getting out of Barovia. All of these are just tools of manipulation at his disposal, and I suggest you use every single one of them. Personally, I think that Strahd would not attack the characters early, and I think that's a mistake. I think Dungeon Masters have played their hand too quickly if they have Strahd show up and attack them, the players' characters. I want you to consider waiting till he has tested, manipulated, and used everything at his disposal. Now, there's a lot of tools he can use that aren't necessarily involving him directly attacking the NPCs, the PCs. Once he has manipulated, tested, and played with them enough, then he can destroy the characters. But they are also tools. Remember, the player's characters, those characters are tools at his disposal. He can use them to destroy his own enemies within Barovia rather than doing it himself, which is completely the sort of thing that Strahd would be into. Develop a really close relationship between Strahd and the player's characters, because it's going to make it that much more confusing and that much harder to figure out how to deal with him later on, because he will seem like an ally when in fact he is not. Combat, if you do get into combat, works best when Strahd toys with them, goads them, or forces the party to retreat. Or if they can't retreat and he doesn't want things to get too bloody, then he can do a hit and run tactic, leaving a few of them bloodied but not killed or dead or unconscious. So you don't need to follow through completely and obliterate them, because really Strahd would be very easy for him to do that. It's just pointless to even try and do that because it is too easy. You can't appeal to Strahd's humanity. A foolish character will come up with what about, how do you feel about this? Because remember, Strahd is a predator. He has no soul. He is also he's not just a predator of people, he's a predator of women. He's based off all of the worst possible things you can think of that a man might be made of, essentially. And also all of the lore and concepts behind the vampire. Think about Dracula. Go and check out the Hammer horror movies, because they're really useful. Also remember that Strahd has spies. He has animals, NPCs, Madame Ava, the Vestini gypsies. He can use scrying spells. So essentially he knows everything there is to know about the player's characters. There's nothing that can get past him really. Unless, of course, it's something that's taking place in their mind and he's not using detect thoughts on them, which, if you are a cunning dungeon master, you would do that as well. Now, Strahd has a number of goals, but right now, the characters are his focus. They are his plaything, so don't get distracted by that fact. He also has a couple of other goals, and one is to turn Irina Kolyana into a vampire and make her his bride. Now, this is because she looks a lot like Tatiana, but she is reincarnated, you might say, with his plan is to make her his own, turn her into a vampire. He can turn Irina into a vampire at any time. It doesn't need to happen right now. It could happen any time. So he's in no rush. He can play with her when he wants to, and he will do exactly that. So don't get too caught up in we have to worry about Irina because Strahd is going to show up and bite her and then, transform her into a vampire. I mean, you can certainly do that, but I think you could play that out. That makes it more difficult. It's more now about, can we keep Irina and Strahd away from each other? And of course they can't, but you can certainly present the illusion that they are doing that. What about finding Rudolf van Richten, the legendary vampire hunter? He's just a slight distraction. He's certainly on the radar, but he will be found and broken, and that's Strahd's intention is to break Van Richten. But Van Richten is incognito. He is doing his very utmost. He hasn't revealed himself to anybody. Nobody knows who he is in Barovia. So very, very, very difficult to actually locate Rudolph. Now, it's also going to be very difficult for the players' characters to find Rudolph. But Rudolph is certainly in the background there somewhere, searching for a successor. Strahd is searching for a successor or a consort, and the PCs, the players' characters, are those successors or consorts. He will test them, toy with them, get bored with them, but in the end, no matter what they do, Strahd will realise they are not suitable for what he's looking for, that he is the ultimate master of Barovia. There is no other master of Barovia, and Strahd is it. If they ever manage to get hold of Strahd's journal or the Tome of Strahd, this will bring down Strahd's wrath because it has a lot of very personal information in there. It is certainly one of the items, one of the artifacts required to help defeat him. And so therefore, this is one item that would draw his wrath, his anger. He doesn't normally feel anger, but remember the type of anger that Strahd would feel and present to somebody else. You might not necessarily be able to tell that he is angry because he wouldn't necessarily be showing that emotion because he's very, very much an emotionless character. But the way he interacts, cool, calm, and collected. One of the most frightening types of villains you can possibly have. Yes, think Hannibal. What about the likes of Esmeralda? Strahd is not really concerned with Esmeralda. She's the monster hunter. She's just a pawn. He can deal with her when he wants to. Certainly her linking up with the players' characters might make things more difficult, but there's nothing that she can present and do that will change things. And in fact, they've already had an encounter with between each other. Esmeralda and Strahd have already had an encounter, and she knows where she stands. She knows she doesn't have a chance. She'll be looking for an ally, but Strahd's really not worried about her in the slightest. Does Strahd know that Madame Ava is not exactly his puppet? That she is more of a double agent? Is she working for Strahd? Is she helping the players' characters? Or is she doing both? I mean, really, as a dungeon master, you decide, because there's one of those things where you sort of have to decide how much you can milk it. I feel like you should milk this for all it's worth, to make it unusual in that Strahd may be aware of Madame Ava's manipulation and what she's up to, but still allows her to do so in the hopes that she will be able to be exposed in front of the players' characters at an appropriate time to make it clear that, one, she has no control or way of changing things, and that the players have been putting their faith in this fortune teller when in fact she was really just working for him. So yes, you decide how you're going to work that out in your game. Make the adventuring party turn on themselves. He would absolutely go for this. Turn on themselves, split the party, look for somebody who is not cohesive within the adventuring group and break them. Turn them against each other. Make them work against each other in some way. Absolutely do those sorts of things. He would delight in doing that sort of thing. This is what a vampire lives for. My advice to you is try and convince the players and the players' characters that Strahd is a nice guy, that everybody else has the problem, that they're just misunderstood. He's just a misunderstood lord. Everybody else doesn't fully understand what his true motives are in the world, that there is more to him than meets the eye. We're not talking about Transformers, by the way. We're talking about how Strahd operates in the world. But absolutely, convince your players that Strahd is not necessarily an enemy or a villain. Help the party destroy. He's going to use them. He's going to use the party to destroy his enemies. And just about everybody within Barovia is actually an enemy, and certainly destroy the people of Barovia. That would be something. He would have no qualms about burning it all away. It will all come back again at some point, so that's not really an issue for him. I would even consider getting Strahd to hiring the party and getting them to do jobs for him. That would pay them money to do stuff and obliterate his enemies and the people within Barovia, because then what he's done is he's turned them into an evil tool for his own use. Strahd knows he can't be destroyed. There's nothing that will ever happen that can destroy him. And even if they do defeat him, he will just come back. And this is, of course, the horrible fact that the players will find out when you finally complete your adventure. But it is something that Strahd knows, because it has happened before. And therefore, let's play on that. Let's utilize that to our advantage. Let's make sure they understand that there is really nothing that they can do that he is afraid of. But that is my perspective on it. Honestly, if you have any questions or feedback or any additional advice on how to play Strahd, this is just my way of doing it. I enjoyed it. My players were so bamboozled. They knew that, metagaming, they knew that something was up. But I always played him like he was an ally rather than an enemy. It wasn't till the very final scenes of the adventure where his true colours started to present themselves. So make a comment down in the comment section. I have plenty of videos for players and Dungeon Masters, and you are welcome to go and check those out. I have a Patreon account where you can go and support me and get priority on video content and exclusive content as well. I also have affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon, where you can buy stuff online and I get a small commission, and my Amazon affiliate links now are covering the whole world. So there's a link for every country now that has access to it. Remember to share, like and subscribe. Hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Yeah! I so miss the days of torturing my players. Torturing the characters. Okay, I'm back. Alright, for those of you who are running the Curse of Strahd, chuck in a hashtag question. Let's make sure we get through everything. I'm going to grab my glasses. Look, there is a lot of really good advice on how to play Strahd in the book. And I could go over and just talk about whatever is in the book, like a lot of people have. But I needed to give you my way of doing it, because really it was very, very different to what other people had come across. And as a result, I felt like it worked much better. And that's why I did it that way. Now, for those of you who are rewatching this live stream, you won't be able to, because it'll be going unlisted. If you're in the live stream, this is really your only chance. The edited version will go up when I get a chance to do so. And I see an expert has just jumped into the room, and that would be Oscar. I don't know why Oscar's asking me questions. Oscar knows a lot. Hi, Renee. How's it going? Von Zarovich. Yes, Fred von Zarovich. Yes, I thought I would dress up a little bit. I don't often get to wear the black cape. Not that you can necessarily tell. And I changed my background because it feels a bit darker and a bit more sinister. Carol, how's it going, Carol? How are you doing? Ditar, joined late again. Keep the stream open so I can watch the full video. Well, you're going to get to watch the full video eventually anyway. I will leave it open for a little while so you can watch it. It's not going to be too much of a problem. Okay, but I can't leave it open for too long, because what will happen is it won't get processed by YouTube. Hi, Scott. How's it going? Okay, Scott. My first appearance for for Strahd was when the PCs looked out the window of the death house, and he was standing in the street behind ghosts of Thorn and Rose, just watching. Well, that's quite cool. I like that. That's impressive. It certainly means that he's aware of their presence, and you've made it abundantly clear straight away. Okay, Scott, what do you got here? Question, is Strahd aware of his manipulation at the hands of Baba Yaga, or is she a hidden manipulation? I think you'll find that nobody really truly manipulates Strahd. Baba Yaga certainly has some influence in the world, but Strahd is the master of Barovia, and nobody else, even Baba Yaga coming in, is going to change that. Baba Yaga might think that she has control over Strahd and what's going on, but that's really just her opinion, her belief, but it's not actually happening. I don't believe that's the case. Oscar, but then again, you can change that. If you feel that's not going to work for your game, you change it. Oscar's an expert. I don't know why you're asking me questions, but I'll answer it. Hi, Fred. If the players destroy the Heart of Sorrow and Strahd still, he would return again. Look, the whole point is you can destroy that. There's literally nothing they can do. This is why, in the back of the book, there's just a small paragraph, and it just states, what happens. Strahd comes back no matter what. Because he is the master and lord. Now, the reason behind that, and the reason that occurs, is because the dark gods that put Strahd there will not allow him to go anywhere else. So they would just bring him back to life. This is why they can't destroy Strahd, because there are gods and dark gods at play here. They have put Strahd here for a purpose, and his purpose he cannot escape. He knows it, and they know it. It's just everybody else who doesn't understand that. So that's the thing. And I did actually have some of the dark gods appear in my Curse of Strahd campaign, and I think the players started to realise there's something really weird going on here. Maybe we can escape, but maybe destroying Strahd is not something that the gods will let us do. Maybe we actually have to face off against a dark god, not just Strahd. So just some things to play around with and think about. But you, like I said, it's your adventure. You can do whatever you like with it, Oscar, and I know you have. Scott, question. How did you use the Mad Mage of Bartok? I didn't really worry too much about the Mad Mage of Bartok. If anything, I didn't really use the Mad Mage of Bartok very much at all. There were a lot of other characters the players were much more interested in, and therefore I sort of gravitated towards that. My players explored everything before they faced Strahd for the last time. They worked for Strahd for a while. Strahd would show up constantly. I think the first time they met Strahd was he was in a carriage. A black carriage was travelling along the road. They were walking from one location, I think it was from the village of Barovia to Vallaki. And he showed up and he stopped to give them a ride. A lot of them just scattered into the forest, because when they saw the carriage coming, they were like, that's got to be Strahd's carriage. We're getting out of here. But some of them did get on board, and of course that caused a whole lot of problems. But Strahd did not actually do anything that was openly aggressive. He just, the thing about scaring people is you have to present the idea of a threat. As soon as you actually start threatening them, you have lost that fear factor. If they know that something could potentially happen, and that's what's stirring in their mind, you want to milk that for as much as you possibly can. It's like showing the monster too soon. Don't show the monster too soon. So don't show the monster of Strahd too quickly. Okay, so Scott, question. Have you read the Ravenloft novel, Vampire of the Mists? No, I have run the original Ravenloft adventure though, which honestly has just been reproduced in the Curse of Strahd, and the Curse of Strahd has just got a lot more going on, which I think is great. It's one of my favourites now. Would you consider adding Jandar Sunstar to Barovia? No, not really. I mean, you can if you want, but no, I wouldn't. Oscar, what do you got here? Thanks, Fred. I needed your response much better. I use AUKUS as a big bad behind Strahd. Now, I cannot remember who I used. I believe I used a dark god who was not AUKUS. No, I can't remember. Sorry, I would tell you if I knew. Unfortunately, I don't remember. Okay, so if there are no more questions and no more things that people want to add, okay, what's the Scott? Thanks for answering my barrage of questions. Yeah, otherwise, everybody else who's watching this, you're getting to watch this. Everybody else will have to wait for the edited version to get released. This will go unlisted, therefore it won't be public once I go offline. And that is going to be the format for my videos for quite a long time. And also, I have to say, a lot of my live streams won't be on YouTube. They will be on Twitch TV, and you'll find the uploaded edited version on YouTube, because I feel like YouTube doesn't really, I don't really feel like it's rewarding live streaming in the long term. It rewards you initially for doing it, and then it punishes you for leaving it up. So I don't want to do that. Okay. So I'm going to say what I normally say, and that is have a good day, have a good night, have a good morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Look after yourself, look after your family and friends. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.